ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Hey Safeguard, The Score Esports, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
It's Overpass, our second game here of the night for the ESL Pro League. PENTA have pushed NaVi to the brink and into overtime as well, however, unable to convert the win, which does seem to be an all too familiar tale for the majority German side. I'm your host, Alex Machine Richardson, got myself, Janko and Chad Birchall hanging out to talk through just a few kind of, well, necessary pre-match rituals when we're going into NaVi on Overpass. In fact, we'll start with you, Chad, just because you've been frantically scrolling stuff down as you did have a quick look over the map. It looks like it's pretty damn good for NaVi.
I got some fun stats.
Drop them.
They are 8-0 in the last 3 months, so they 100% win rate on Overpass.
Jesus, that's all online, is it? No, there was E-League as well.
Yeah, they played a bit of LAN. And as well as that, if they get the first kill, I think there's an 89% chance they win the round.
On either side?
Yep.
89% chance.
That's huge.
Is that? Do you know if that's kind of different to normal? I mean, do you know what normal kind of first kill to success?
It's probably more like 60.
Okay. Wow, 89. Closing in on 90%. I guess first picks are important on Overpass, Janko.
I guess one time that we're actually literally right when we say 9 times out of 10, when they actually get the first kill, they will win the round.
Good one.
Yeah, Overpass is one of the maps they actually played, that they practiced with the addition of Simple as well. We saw them play it 3 times in Pro League, I believe, got 3 wins. So I think they will be much more comfortable on this map.
Well, I'm trying to think, when did we last see them on it? It was just yesterday. Of course, we saw them versus Mouse Sports. And that was all round. Just kind of how I kind of jogged my memory. They were still kind of pushed a little bit by Mouse. It was only like, what, 6-7?
16-8.
16-8, okay, there you go.
So they weren't really pushed at all.
Not really pushed.
Okay, guys, I was trying to find a way to give PENTA a chance.
They were more annoyed by the fact they had to play the game.
I want to try and find a silver lining because sometimes it does feel like this is just going to be us saying, well, NaVi, you're going to win.
Isn't the silver lining, let's watch the best Overpass team in the world right now destroy these Germans.
Oh, you're a beautiful man.
That's the silver lining of this match.
Exactly. And let's outline quickly why, you know, one of these you've said it, the best Overpass team, or close to. Let's have a kind of discussion as to why that is. Is it safe to assume, you said already they practice with Simple, Janko. I'm guessing that dominant double AWP is going to be very effective on the defensive side of Overpass.
Yeah, one of the things that's going to be really hard to deal with. We saw them even willing to send both of those AWPs towards the A-bomb site and just, you know, wreak havoc against teams who they think are maybe not comfortable against it or don't really have a proper way to deal it, especially if they sense someone being scared a little bit, right? That's when they will push it to the limit, so to speak. And we saw the Guardian Ace yesterday, of course, you know, what he can do by himself. Imagine if there's someone as Simple on the map as well.
Yeah, that must be pretty intimidating. Chad, just from your in-game leader perspective, is it really kind of the double AWP that influential on the defensive side?
No,
is it one of those maps?
It's mainly the way that NaVi approach Counter-Strike. I keep touching on it. They're very disciplined.
Yeah.
They play very good fundamental Counter-Strike. Once they get that kill, they know what to do. The first opening pick as Ts or CTs, you know, they'll always drop back, or as the Ts, they might wait for the CTs to push for aggression information. It's very important. A lot of people don't realize that if you get the first pick on the T side and you're running a very passive, slow default, you don't just want to rush into anything. You want to wait because the CTs want to even it up. They want to make it a 4v4 situation or even better. So they're going to try some aggression. They have to because they need to take map control. So if you're happy to wait, like NaVi are, they don't care if there's, you know, 7 seconds left and they're only just then running into the bomb site to plant. They don't get scared by that. You know, some teams get really antsy and they're like, 20 seconds left, we got to go, we got to go. NaVi don't care. They're more than happy to run that clock down and let the other team, you know, get a bit antsy, and wow, they do it well.
They certainly do it well. I was trying to suggest why would we do predictions? Never mind, let's not do that. Instead, we can just go ahead and give us a player to watch then. You've already suggested the AWP's been influential, but, you know, we've also haven't really touched on just how kind of prolific we've seen Mr. Edward being recently. He was Mr. in the shadows, but he is relentlessly picking up these kind of backbone consistent frags that we do demand.
I think he's been the X factor this year for NaVi. Yeah. Columbus, he was one of the best players of the tournament as well, which you wouldn't expect from Edward at all. It was always, you know, Seized and Flamey who regarded as being the players to step up behind the Guardian. Flamey has been doing it more consistently, so then it's like Edward, Seized, who will be the one. And this year it's been more Edward, but Seized has an important role on Overpass because he's the player who lurks towards the B bomb side, sometimes by himself, throwing the molly at short, spamming through the wall, trying to prevent the CTs from gaining control of that water area or near the door, right? So denying the map info while the rest of the team can work towards the A bomb side. When you look at a map like Overpass and the teams who play it the best, like NaVi, or you look like on a map like Train, which is hard to play on the T side, the teams who are best at playing it are the teams who have really strong defaults and not really preset executes, because it comes down to understanding the map really well when you're spread out, and each player knows their own limits and knows what's the best move for them to help their team win the round.
All right, so there you go. From the desk, things to look out for. When NaVi get a kill, 89% of the time they will be finishing off with a win in that round. And also keep an eye on their default, especially on that T side. You get to see how a really good Overpass team sets themselves up for a default round. That's what we've got on the desk. Let's see what the casters have to say as we dive into game 2.
89% of rounds won after the first kill. To be fair, the average is actually more than 60, but not by much. It's about 72 odd for top teams. So that's like that's an outlier statistic for NaVi, 100%. Yep. And we talked about the AWPing situation here between these teams already. Crystal can AWP, but they don't use them in a double AWP scenario really at all. It's only just MACZ doing it now. And we talked about how scary the double AWP potential here is for NaVi. So that's got to make you think a bit here about how this plays out.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I think we have to echo the sentiment that was on the desk. This should be an enjoyable game to watch just NaVi play. I think it's the best way to go through it. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those where PENTA can upset, they can do well on it, but you look statistically on paper, which is what you kind of have to look at, I guess, in some ways. You have to take it away from the game actions sometimes when the stats are this strong. Similar to that, NaVi are one of the best in the world. This is one of their best maps, just flat out. So again, for PENTA, let's see how far they can push it. You know, Cobble was a great performance from them. Not the best map in the pool for NaVi, but it was certainly, you know, still there. But look at those results, 6-0 in the last 3 months. And then, obviously, PENTA do play it. They're not exactly strangers to it, but nowhere near to the same standard. So this should be, you know, PENTA, can they actually play to the standard of their opponent? Can they keep up? Can they push it as far as they did on Cobble? Likelihood? No. But they have every opportunity to do so. NaVi aren't unbeatable, but it's, you know, pretty close too.
Yeah, absolutely. And for PENTA, their results on Overpass have been significantly less than stellar. Let's put it politely here. It's not been good. They lost the team preparation the other day as well. Who are they, you might ask? Exactly. Not really a well-known team. Definitely not a tier 1 team. So let's see how the pistol goes through now. PENTA want a challenge here in towards Underpass. And Tarson, all right then, does come away with the goods here. A performance shinier than the top of his head, if I'm not mistaken, but nice showing from him so far. So that opens things up a little bit here for PENTA, or at least maybe just closes a few doors in NaVi's space. We know what they're like. They're like battering rams sometimes. If they want it, they'll go for it.
I think Stefan made noise there, because you could instantly see Guardian kind of turn around for this. I think he's going to just strafe in and try and get the pick.
You want me.
Yeah, he definitely heard Stefan step, or just had a good idea that could be a possibility, because they now have a really nice route. I don't know if you're going to predict Tarson being this close, but they're going to check anyway. They're not going to be hap-handed about it. They're going to just kind of peek the corners. Nice angle on the first, but he can't make much more of the second. Guardian's going to just push through that, and now it's a 2v2. Guardian's got the P250 and the armor, but it doesn't matter. Those USPSs can do serious damage. Now we're down to 50 seconds, but the bomb didn't commit there with Guardian. He left that one back, so it's down to Edward in a 1v2. Now, Dennis is known for his pistoling, but Edward's not exactly too dissimilar in that aspect many a moon ago. Not today. Crystal gonna deny it.
Many a moon ago.
Yes, back in yesteryear. No, PENTA will pick up the first. Good start for them. Again, a little bit of a buck to the trend that we see them often being labelled with, but it's step by step here for PENTA. It really is round by round, and them just taking it as such, trying to see the bigger picture and not just going to get bogged down in these individual rounds on occasion, because NaVi will win those situations. So I'm just excited to see how far they can take this for PENTA.
Well, it's going to be a couple Tech 9s brought in here, at least for NaVi. A bit to work with, to be fair. Obviously, the very standard force after not getting much done in the first round, not getting a plant. So that kind of necessitates this extra investment for NaVi. They won't go for it next round if they lose it out, but who knows if they win. Crystal did spot Guardian just sort of strafe across there as well. So NaVi already taking plenty of real estate as they've moved forward here. Stefan's going to have to respond from the other side of the map here, but you see Guardian just picking up there. It'll be MACZ and Crystal though now, just to start firing up the Combine Harvester, as it were. It's going to be Flamey on his own. Picks himself up a UMP. He's not going to have it for long at this rate, though. Going to be wrenched from his hands. And Tarson to pacify. You know what Tarson's last name is, by the way?
No.
The best last name ever. Broshk.
You just like saying German words.
Broshk. No, it's not. Well, it's not a German last name, but Tarsem is actually listed as a Turkish national for a while, so I guess for Penta to be able to play in German competitions, he probably has a dual passport or something, but it's Turkish. Brosk. So good, man.
Just facts with Mitch.
It's good, it's good.
Facts
it's a good name.
Mitch.
Strong name.
Strong name. All right, so
good bloodline, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Lol's playing up on long, going to be played in a little there by Crystal, not going to take the peek off the back of it, and NaVi been kind of warded away from this. So kind of being played in towards B, being denied any step towards that A side of things, be it even toilets or party. So I guess push from pillar to post. And just looking for opportunities throughout the map. It's all they can do is hope for maybe a plant or something along those lines. It's very unlikely on this map. It's quite hard to get into these sites late into the round. But if Lol pushes up too far and he isolates himself, that could be maybe an opportunity for NaVi.
Pillar to post, window to wall. MACZ now in towards connector. Simple though with a little bit of a peek down towards 60. Well, that's a little bit more than MACZ bargained for there. Definitely getting a bit sweaty in that situation, but Lol able to come up from the backside here and get one. Nade to follow. Still though, an SMG is in Flamey's hands. Not like can really do a heck of a lot with it now with limited armor. Doesn't really want to go with a slap fight at close range here, but sees, gets the drop on Stefan. It's not going to be enough though. Stefan responds quickly, just swivels around like a turret, takes him down. Now backing away cleverly here as well, buying some time for the rest of Penta to respond.
Yeah, and two players remaining, one being Simple, one being Guardian. Simple trying to buy a little bit of time here, trying to find maybe something. It's not going to happen though. Penta keep the first three pretty clean.
Definitely. And that's what you want. NaVi not getting much in terms of a bomb plant. I mean, you do have to extend a reasonable amount on this map to sort of get that. Not so easy to sneak unless you're on the A site and you get cleanly through toilet blocking. Well, that didn't happen earlier on. That's what NaVi attempted to do in that second round. So, buy up now, all for Guardian, just the one. MACZ has one as well.
But NaVi being able to get an AWP in this round is quite nice for them. Guardian did pick up a couple of kills, so he's able to pick that up with the armor, not just glass cannon. Being quite cautious, that smoke on the stairs will kind of avert his eyes away from it, so he can't see if someone went instantly towards party, which they actually did, that being Crystal and MACZ. So Crystal's holding the close push. I'm kind of curious whether they're both watching almost the same angle here. That smoke's going to dissipate soon enough. So Crystal's, I guess, holding more of the push, and Mike is holding the peak almost, if you want to look at it that way. And NaVi might walk into this, but they're boosting down by that, I guess, the slide around the back by the playground. But good info gathered at the start, and they trade out effectively. 4v4 now, and you have to see Penta fall back off this. They need to be careful. You don't overextend. But Mike is going to stick around a little longer. Doesn't quite take the kill, but I think he might... I'm not sure if he tagged Edward there, or if it wasn't even Edward, but it looked pretty close to being on him.
Well, if we've learned anything about these matches tonight, sometimes that doesn't mean jack. Some shots just somehow seem to pass through the opponents anyway. So a bit of long presence here for NaVi at this stage, trying to put together the three players, maybe even allow for a boost for Guardian if that's going to be required. Crystal, shoulder peek, second peek, does see the player. And actually might force NaVi back entirely. No, Guardian going to go for it. Gets the kill. MACZ responds, though, in kind. It's going to be an AWP drop and probably have to be scooped back up in a few moments here if NaVi really want to get the long-range game going. And it's gone over to Edward. The correct decision. And Simple will make his way through toilet block now as well. So Stefan's been alerted. He's made his way towards his site. So Penta will be able to defend in numbers here.
Yeah, the thing is that Penta have seen the whole game plan. I don't know how Flame's been allowed to step out this far and not be challenged, because he's given the chance for him to find Stefan. They knew that there was at least a player, maybe two on long, but time is running short. They're down to 8 seconds, but I don't think they can stop the plant. Simple is there just to stop anyone trying to deny it. Now Bomb's gone down. It's a 1v1. Flamey up against MACZ. MACZ already finding 3 this round. He's got a good idea where Flamey was. The nade will seal the deal, but the shot was already coming through. He's re-picked up the AWP, and he will eventually defuse the bomb. But that was quite a dangerous round. They allowed NaVi a lot of room to work, even though they knew the whole plan, and it came down to a 1v1. But Penta win the round, and for them, as we say, step by step, this is a NaVi map. This is their, this is their playground. This is where they destroy top-tier teams on their favored maps as well. So this is where you keep your eyes on. So MACZ is going to have to drop out for the others because, the money got pretty low there. They've been close rounds, but he has a good spawn, and he can use this for the peak.
As far as I'm concerned, this is a mandatory buffer of rounds that Penta are picking up there. These are rounds they're going to need to fall back on or rely on probably later on here if we assume that, all things being equal, NaVi will start to get their engines running here. MACZ denied information, denied any real step towards the center of this map here, as it was a flash that forced him back. He astutely obeys that command and drops back to try and help his team. That gets the shot towards Edward, but Flamey already there with the spray down. So NaVi trading very effectively to take control of this part of the map.
But NaVi are running low on what they can play with. They have picked up a smoke there, so again, a little bit more to deny some of these angles. These 3 players can still be very, very prevalent within this round. 2 predominantly, one being Tarsin, one being LOL. Still in a nice spot here, and Guardian going past this might give him a false sense of security. LOL can still play around this smoke. I'm not sure if they're aware of it. I think they might have seen his feet there, but he still finds the angle, but that's the bomb being dropped, but it doesn't matter too much unless Stefan can do something magical. And well, the Magic's run a little bit thin on that one. Guardian's going to claim that in the end, and NaVi finally get one on the board.
Yeah, and that's just NaVi trading efficiently there to gain access to those sites, setting up good little double spray down scenarios there. You saw Flaming Edward were able to get the better of MACZ and actually run over the top of him. So, plenty of guns in hand for NaVi. Can't say the same for PENTA in this case, though. They're going to have to go for just the pistols here. That's it. They'll try and be very conservative about this round and hope to get what they can. Get up close, get into the corners, get under the skin, and behind the ears of NaVi if they can.
And yeah, Crystal's just going to flash them in. If they hear a step or get any contact, he'll just flash them through. I don't think they've really been given much of a chance to do this, but NaVi are in the right place. Stefan's looking around. He might be able to find C's, but C's is probably holding this angle, and this flash should be coming in pretty soon. I think it's a bit too late here, and at the end of the day, it does absolutely nothing. C's and Edward very, very comfortably joined by Flame in the end to clean up any sort of aggression throughout this one. LOL trying to find a bit of a cheeky pick. Not going to get it. Instantly the support arrives, but he doesn't need it. It's Guardian to find the remaining member. And a couple of the NaVi players did go low, but not low enough. And NaVi's economy does become a little stronger now. They can reinvest into the utility they might have expended in that round, but they didn't expend much. They are sitting very, very nicely here. You know, 5K already starting to build towards Simple and Edward. However, on the other side, it's bare bones. They're scraping this one together. Yep. You've still got a Famus there with Tarsin, so far from what you want to be working with against one of the world beaters on this map. It's certainly be back in the back of their minds here, but MACZ and Crystal going to go a little bit further forward. Crystal pretty much quite alone here. Got to be careful how long he stays in these sort of spots. He did have the support of MACZ to start with, but you can't get away with it at that sort of spot if there's anyone else to trade off the back of it. So PENTA again still getting a little bit aggressive in the early sort of throws of this round. You see the likes of Stefan pushing up Tarsin as well. And it's always at a risk. It's always at a cost. So for example, they have no one watching Monster, but you're going to make the risky choice that no one's going to just walk through at this point. Tarsin's watching the push towards the site, but they could still be out by that kind of lower side there. But NaVi aren't doing this. NaVi, this is what we wanted to see from them. Something's brought up on the desk. How they play out default rounds. How they play out just, you know, we don't have much info. Ooh, hello. Hello, NaVi. Is this... Oh, NaVi. I love it when you do these things. Crystal is actually on the other side of this, so Crystal could suffer. If they get this boost right, which they're going to try again. Up we go. Crystal is just to the right of that.
Filth. And I love it. NaVi don't see anything for it, though, as well. And they've given that one away. Yes, we saw it, boys. Sorry. Not really seeing it be put to great use as of yet. Shots are being fired here over on the other side of the map. But now we'll stake with NaVi as they try and pressure on towards long. Again, playing 3 or 4 people on long. So really like committing a lot of resources to this part of the map and sort of denying any sort of fight or step towards the middle. Flash in, though. That could be nice. Crystal and MACZ going to go for it together, but only the trade for now. And MACZ now a little bit caught out. The second peak comes in for Flamey, and that one hits true.
Yeah, the flank could be really good from LOL here. He's ahead of what C's can watch, and C's does find Stefan, but falls to Tarsin. So now LOL tries to respond on long. He did get one, but that means the bomb's already slipped through, and these guys can go towards B. Actually, no, they can't tell a lie. The time's too short. They have to plant here. So now PENTA know where they are. No kit, though. So PENTA don't have any sort of, you know, quickness to this. They're going to be in real deep trouble. NaVi can just dig deep and just slow it down a little bit. They don't know they haven't got kits at this point. You can maybe make a small assumption they don't have that much money, but not to the edge where you'll bank on it.
The Molotov does nothing really with the smoke in the way. There was no way for LOL and Tarsin to actually see Flamey step forward of that one or cross from Optimus and try and avoid it. So now Tarsin has to go in essentially blind. Of course, time was of the essence. The Molotov maybe just had to come out when it did. But there was no way to play off the back of it there, really, as they were still screened out by smoke. NaVi get another one on the board. Money is building. They are starting to get the diamond studded belt buckle in there. 8,800 on Simple, obviously. Okay, then. They really do want to build this buffer up. Yeah, absolutely. Harvest Moon 2.0, let's go.
And why not? You know what I mean? You're starting to look good in these gun rounds, you're starting to get a bit of money, but they want more. They want to be able to afford maybe the double orb. They want to at some point. If they really fancy on the T side, a bit crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised. Simple, the flash wasn't good there. There was one coming from the CT side as well, but I think he kind of turned a little into his own at that point, and he will be punished for this. Now, again, that's not too bad, though. He was one of the players with the SMG. He wanted to go aggressive. He was actively looking for fights. And Guardian shows him how it's done, fighting 2 for himself, but now things are getting a little bit hairy. But there you go. Pull back in line by C's. Can't be exploited until then. LOL's made it look a little bit more costly. We're into 2v2 now. Sadly for LOL, he doesn't have armor, but Crystal does. And Flamey's got a great position. Not expecting that one. Edward's got the bomb. Flamey's paved the way. He said, guys, don't worry. Or should I say, Edward, Come down to B. It's fine. We can get this one done. Just be careful of upper. I'll get CT. Don't worry about it. Crystal has to work against big odds here.
And a retake with the MAC-10. I don't know. Oh, there's even a nice roaring fire to greet him there. Not quite the comfort you expect on a Christmas evening, actually more of the impending doom here, realizing he needs to access his bomb. Catches Edward off, but again, the MAC-10 not able to quite penetrate to the degree required, and Edward can turn around and dispatch.
Okay, 4-4. Bearing in mind, Penta picked up the first 3. You know, off the back of the pistol, did pretty well for themselves in that sort of, you know, mindset. Did perfectly fine. I don't think they can be too upset with that one. They even picked up the one following the back of it. They got the defuse in the end, but now NaVi have started to take back. This is what we see, and this could be that fast play through Monster. They like to molly out short, play through Monster. This is something so actually I think it was NIP doing as well, something that's not too dissimilar, but actually they go for a bit of a different route here. So they could put players up short a little bit later, but this boost could really dismantle this if they pull it off quick enough. Again, you have to be quite tucked into the corner here for it to work out. You have to be able to boost up on the head and then the second. Now, Stefan's going to be able to see a little bit, but I don't think he realizes that Simple is just below him.
They've missed this whole push.
Exactly, and the push has come in. But I don't think anyone's going to expect 3 players sitting in. Now they'll know what's up. Now they know there's a tri-boost coming in, and Flavy's going to have a whale at the time. Perfect spray towards the second 2. Stefan and Lol punished.
Oh, man. And that was players that had bought up, by the way. That's full Kevlar and weapons. And it all goes by the wayside. Flamey more than happy to set fire to the little tiki torch of players there for Penta Sports. Bomb down. Crystal and MACZ would be ill-advised to try and challenge at this stage. They're fully aware of that fact. And they are just going to sit right on back of it here. And that quarterfinals pin for Crystal seems like just a memory now. It's been quite some time since that particular event back in 2015. And been quite a while since Penta really had that status, but some promising signs for them here, definitely. I mean, to be neck and neck with NaVi, to take them to task on the first map and almost take it out there. Signs are good for this budding German lineup, but more refinement required, perhaps. Still, enough money for Penta to still buy into some weapons, but not all. It's only going to be 3,400 for LOL. That will be the low point there in terms of economy. It's still going to be a USP for him. Notice that Stefan and Tarsen, though, fancy themselves some 5-7 action.
All right, let's see what MACZ can do here. I want him to be the game changer of some variety. I think he's going to try and make that happen as well, going towards Underpass. Going to try and take just like a 1v1 duel if he can. If he can get away with that, perfect. Now, Simple's dropped down this ladder. He's waiting on the other side, but MACZ, you've got to be careful. Simple can hit these, and he will hit these, and now the pressure's starting to mount. Tarsen's found C's. That's going to encourage Simple to step forward, and MACZ handles it with ease. I say ease. He's down to 8 HP, but, you know, we'll give him the doubt on that one.
Given he got peeked into, yeah.
Crystal,
Fair.
I think he might have heard Flamey earlier, so this could be quite good for Crystal, depending on the timing, but it's all but a ruse at this point. It's only Flamey here. Now, Crystal's going to spot this out, seeing, okay, he's not got the bomb, it's just him, he's trying to sell something. Lol, Tarsen, don't leave B. There's nothing else here, guys. Keep your eyes trained on this. It's only a UMP, no armor with Lol, so that's pretty disastrous. Spot comes out from Tarsen, swing comes in from Lol. It's a 1-2 punch, but it gets, well, blocked and parried back by Guardian there. This is looking a little bit better for NaVi.
And MACZ here himself is quite low. He's going to have to hope to put the AWP to really good use here. And I believe it was actually Crystal sort of put out in the mix there, sort of put in a corner, but still, Edward can only really set up for the bomb plant at this stage as he's surrounded out here by Penta players, and the defuse will be forthcoming as that Molotov does eventually die down. Tarsen, behave. They've
got a kill on MACZ, it's not too bad. I was kind of worried about that, then I was like, wait, they've mollied the site, and time would have been a bit awkward there, but they do pick it up, so, you know, level pegging with Penta, with NaVi, excuse me. So Penta doing okay. It always feels like it's just waiting for NaVi to take control, though. You know, when you talk about NaVi on this map, it's like, you know, this is their home. You know, and you look at Penta. This hasn't been a great map for them, even against, you know, tier 2 teams to an extent. You know, they do tend to very much play to their opponent's skill level. So far, that means a big skill increase on this side, at least for now. But double up comes out, MACZ and Tarsen. And let's see how it goes. Again, round by round, step by step for the Penta boys. So far, they're keeping up. They're doing nicely for themselves. NaVi falling back to quite the default here. Just going to be playing this one out quite slowly. Penta not able to push up too much. Tarsen, ooh, you're lucky to be alive, my friend. Going to be able to back away from this one. And surprisingly so. Yeah,
the desperate spray came out. If that was some more controlled taps, Tarsen would be absolutely in a heap right now. But when you walk around a corner and you see an AWP looking at you, you don't really want to bank on the fact that he is actually flashed. And sometimes you need to just try and get the spray. Still, that does leave him very low, but a low player with an AWP is still an AWP. That's the main thing. Doesn't need to brawl, just needs the one shot. Smoking towards toilets here, and the bomb's still being left back in the park. So NaVi not really sold on anything at this stage yet. They saw Tarsen boost over, or peek over at that. That's all I really know for the moment.
I like that we Penta still have some mollies to play. They only have one smoke, but it can buy them a bit of time. We know that NaVi likes to play slow. They've got mollies themselves. So it looks like it's kind of accumulating towards this B here. And Tarsin saw a... Oh, God, Tarsin.
How do you see that, though? Like the feet of Guardian.
Come on, Tarsin. You're allowing that to happen. You're slow peeking into that when you've just been spotted. All right, 4v4. Let's remove that from my memory because I don't want to remember that. And now NaVi has the sight. Look at it. Instantly, they see a small mistake. A small little individual error opens up so much now. Edward's watching the flank as well, or the rotate, should I say. Crystal takes his head off. That's good. And now down to a 3v2. This becomes a little more possible. But, you know, they know where the approach is coming from. One can watch Monster, two can watch Short. It depends how they want to kind of set this one up. Penta would be, quite lucky to find another entry back in towards the site, and they know that. Backing away humbly, they need to know when they've lost out on something, and Navi's going to claim this.
So if you're a CT-sided team and now you're just managing to draw even again, it's unlikely that you want to invest any more towards, future endeavors here, or you don't want to throw weapons away, I guess is a better way of putting it, because you know how easy it is to be set right back down to rock bottom, and then sometimes on the CT side you realize that rock bottom actually has a basement, and that's those double eco situations that you just hate to find yourself in. So this is, fairly passive from Penta, of course, fairly conservative play from them, just to make sure they can actually keep some guns in their hands and stay competitive for more rounds than if they expended them here for no point.
Yeah, spot on. All right. 6-5 now. NaVi do regain some control, but these rounds have been going a little back and forward. Penta starting to show some performance swing in the last couple. However, NaVi still showing that they will exploit any mistake that Penta makes. And this is something we saw plague Penta a little bit against Fez Pro, for example, that they would punish any sort of, individual errors and then be able to build from it. Spot comes out from MACZ, though, sees them crossing in mass towards A. So LoL's now going to be called into action. With MACZ supporting him, they should be able to make something from this. Guardian's a fine pick up there for him, and the swing out comes in. Lovely 1-2 punch. I like this, but they're dancing with the devil. Flamey has the AWP, and I wouldn't underestimate this man with it. Crystal's trying to make something happen back, though, desperate to find another opportunity, and he does. Great play from him, reading where NaVi would want to go, finding C's, hearing those steps, and now it's down to Simple and Flamey to pull this one back to hand.
It's almost as if Penta now finally sort of cottoning on to the fact that NaVi like to put a lot of resources in towards long. You see what it does. Challenging out long, getting those couple of kills means that Crystal can actually have a bit more freedom through the middle part of the map, which normally Penta are leaving clear and sitting back very passively on A. But knowing that NaVi don't really touch the middle, they don't really press in towards toilet block, and they like having 4 players on long means that there's a bit more flexibility available here for the German side. Simple, though. Wow, MACZ. Eventually he got up there.
See, the thing is that if he'd actually done the jump, I think MACZ was probably watching that. And him jumping on Flamey might have just given him that kill a little more. Of course, him hitting the shot certainly helps, but yeah.
Yeah, MACZ is like, well, is he just faking this? Is he just little peeking?
But Crystal's still in such a good position. He's been lurking around this area the whole time, so timing is everything. If he feels the timing's right to walk through that smoke, Flamey could have checked that a second later. It's as simple as that. He sees it out, he gets the shot done, and he's got to know Simple's there with him somewhere, sees the barrel of the gun, and it's an execution from Crystal.
Crystal was wading through the clouds there. You see, he was quite comfortable, more than comfortable actually getting very close to an opponent before actually killing him and giving away his position. Simple, what you saw, we could have seen Crystal pick that a little bit earlier, and Simple would not have been remotely ready. He managed to at least turn and face his ultimately killer. But if there was any quicker from Crystal, which it could easily have been, he would have just had that one in the bag easily enough. So nicely done there. Really, really good way to throw things out the at the truck for NaVi, especially with the first or the early round plays that we saw Crystal bringing up. But that's Guardian. They'll do that to you.
Well, it's not the first time we've seen that aggression through underpass, but it hasn't been a consistent factor. So maybe NaVi just going, all right, let's try and start building control through underpass. We can split in towards A. You can start really isolating, cutting players like Crystal off from his teammates. You get players through underpass, he can't fall back, not safely at least. And if Flamey spots him, that'd be job done. He hasn't. Crystal's kind of evaded this a little bit. And the bomb's loose. If he spots this, because he's going right around the right timing to get past Edward and Flamey. If he spots this, he can just go, all right, I'm just going to sit here. Let's see if Crystal spots the bomb. I don't know if he can. He's going to hear C's topping up, though. Spots the bomb. He's going to call this out. Crystal. There we go. He gets it. I got a little nervous. I'm not going to lie to you, but now he's going to smoke off one side and be careful of the other. Because NaVi's going to come back to this. They know they are. LoL, though, tries to add insult to injury. He's going to find a kill as well. Now, Crystal's actually walked away from this. He may decide that actually holding these angles was never going to work out for me. Let me fall back. Let me make them clear all these angles. Cost them more time. He's done just that, but Edward reads the play well. He finds him playing through underpass, and now we're into a 3v3.
Crystal has been such a thorn in the side of NaVi so far, coming from unexpected angles and also having the audacity to challenge in some of these situations or forge so far afield behind NaVi's setup and catch them like he had earlier on. But now with 3 players, NaVi going to try and pressure on towards A, and LOL maybe a little bit late to the party here.
He could still play a really good position if they don't check it, but Edward, so knowledgeable, instantly goes to that. Not going to let that one slip.
Yeah, well, after PENTA putting so many resources last round on towards Long as well, read by NaVi to try and, well, play off the back of it here. But no bomb plant yet. Edward's playing it quite slow. Stefan catches him through the smoke, but time is short. 6 seconds left in the round here. Yes, there's time to plant, but NaVi don't have time for that kind of thing. I'm going to pick up Tass in there. It's simple with the shot through the wall.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. Maybe if he stayed alive a couple of seconds, you know, that could have been different. But it is what it is. 7-6 now. The problem is when you go back and forth on the CT side, we say it time and time again, your money gets low. It's not looking brilliant. They've got enough to buy 3 rifles here. It might just be upgraded pistols for the others. So yeah, LOL and MACZ going to be suffering. But again, you can still work around this. We saw them working with less than this and pulling off rounds before, so I wouldn't write them out just yet. But NaVi's pace, their approach to this should play in well to it. They should be able to find these guys. They can't go for that kind of really aggressive place. But look what it's done to NaVi. Now, I'm not saying this just because NaVi are playing, you know, a little bit uncharacteristically.
They're on Crystal Watch right now.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. They're having to be very, very careful, even more so than they normally are. You've got to check to see, all right, is Crystal trying to make a play here again? Is he got the timing right? Is someone in underpass? You make them fearful of a presence. They have to check it. They have to be very, very cautious of it, and then you can kind of play around that again. But from now being, NaVi has everything to kind of manipulate this map into how they want it to look. They've got those smokes, mollies, nades, whatever they want, flashes. They can dominate. So it looks like this is going to end up on a B if it goes the way, you know, it's starting to build. You've got 2 players looking towards short, Flamey sees towards Monster. Guardian holding back a little. We'll see if it ends up there, though.
Stray bullet catches Tass in there as well. Just gives him the idea, at least there's going to be someone trying to pressure on from this side of the map. I think NaVi's B hits have been pretty nice so far. We saw them push into that sort of failed triple, well, not failed triple boost, but the triple boost there when we saw Flamey get the 3-man. So, you know, that was one example of a decent B execute. Now, that smoke is not long for this world here, and LOL's going to see a heck of a lot more than he bargained for, but more smokes are coming in towards this site now. Your execute, well, we weren't waiting for it. Edward gets around behind, and Stefan's not going to be ready for that. That's beautiful flash timing. He had no hope in heck of actually getting the win there. A snowball's chance even, and Tarsin, well, he catches Edward as he pushes ahead, but that's hardly dealing with the problem here.
Although that sort of timing on flashes and plays, being aware of each other, just it's gorgeous to watch. But now MACZ and Crystal left reeling off the back of it, but they've actually brought this down to a manageable situation. They're in a 2v2 now. It's not brilliant because Crystal's so low, and it's definitely not brilliant now because Simple's killed him. But you know, they brought it back to a competitive game. But that flash to allow, it was Edward, I think, who got around the back of sight, kind of playing through water. Now they'd heard the steps, but the fact of the matter is they flashed barrels late there from NaVi. So as soon as the players became vulnerable to barrels player,
quite late after the smoke.
Yeah, exactly, it was such nice timing on that. Now whether it was intended to allow players like Edward to do that, I don't know, but really, really well played out by them there. Again, it just shows the power that NaVi has, these small pieces, these small nuances that they do well. And well, PENTA are going to be left on the back of a very bad buy now. They have the upgraded pistols, they have armor this time and a scout, but still not good. But any damage Tarsin does sets up the Deagles to do really well. Yeah,
that's it. Guardians now down towards a one-shot there. If someone like LOL is going to round a corner and put one in him. But kind of goes the other way around, isn't it? There's a grenade. Tarsin throws it in his pocket, says, all right, boys, I'll see you next half, and ends it all there. PENTA is setting up at least a little towards underpass at this stage. Now maybe some aggression from MACZ. He caught Seas with a grenade in his hand, but Seas has had time to back away.
Well, with a tag, every tag kind of builds up. That's the thing. Once if you can get a couple more, you start making NaVi look a little bit vulnerable. But at this point, they're still golden. They can still just barrel in. They can still play through it. But LOL doesn't care. He finds 2, and then Stefan finds Seized. This has gone from what looked like a breeze for NaVi to being flipped on its head. Suddenly, those Deagles came in. That 5-7 found its place, and it's left Simple and Guardian, the dastardly duo, you could say, of New, to really pull this one back in line, but it's going to be tough.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with those pistols doing so much work now, and LOL just passively moving back towards the end of the site, it's just flash and a smoke for Stefan to work with here. So, I mean, there is something that PENTA can use to sort of try and skew the odds in their favor. But a smoke remains here. Simple. I'm going in, boys, he says. Guardian, take this. I'll see you on the other side now. I'm going to be looking for LOL. LOL doesn't have the headshot angle. We really thought he'd be crossing by Optimus there. So Simple is always going to win out that fight. I mean, 9 times out of 10 as we now coin the phrase. And this should be a bomb plant here.
But the thing is that MACZ actually has a kit as well, so it's not impossible for them to do this, and actually, great bit of bait. MACZ swings out, Tarsin comes in, but they're both in the same position. Simple could spray this down. Let's see if he can handle it. He finds the first, looks for the second, and he can't do the job. MACZ is there, the kit comes in. They even pick up the AWP as well, and PENTA turn it around. What a great round to close out the first half with.
Another 8-7 half here. Really impressive stuff from PENTA to bring it back with very, very little, but LOL, a cheeky little 2K with the Desert Eagle is definitely going to make life a little bit easier for him. That's half time. Yet again, a NaVi. Well, I mean, we talked a little bit more, I think, before the show about what their CT side would look at. I mean, their T side's been fine, but PENTA able to get some rounds. They probably have no business winning.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what they can do after the break, ladies and gentlemen. We're not too far away, of course, from finishing us off. It's been a long series of maps here between these two teams, but that's because PENTA have really been giving as good as they get. Let's see if they can continue dishing out pain following the break. Well, Lauren and everybody else, welcome back. Prior to tonight, we've seen NaVi be utterly dominant on this map in general. Of course, Overpass if you're just joining us here. But PENTA managing to amass 7 rounds on that CT side, setting up for a very competitive second half here.
I don't know what to expect between this, because you came into this just kind of making the assumption that this was going to be a NaVi display of how to play Overpass. Let's be real here. This was meant to be their game. And that wasn't the case. It's been actually PENTA giving them a fantastic matchup. And NaVi looked a little lost for words. You know, Crystal having a phenomenal performance, really turning it around there, just showing them what for. So again, very, very surprised.
Yeah, more than likely we'll have to see a very strong start here for PENTA though as well. But I mean, they did win the pistol in the second half if you throw it back to Cobblestone, but unable to close it out. It still went towards that overtime though, and that's something we're definitely going to be considering still here as a possibility. I mean, we kind of have to be responsible and throw that in the mix and, you know, assume that we can go there. But NaVi, the double AWP on the CT side, they need to get there first, though. That's the thing. And, of course, we saw the PENTA had a few problems economically speaking there as well. It is the CT side. You know what it's like. So NaVi, if they're going to want to put that into action, put that strategy into play early on or within a reasonable amount of time, I think one would have to say pistol is a bit of a requirement here.
Yeah, it actually is. I'm just surprised it's kind of come on like this. It's very surprising to see NaVi not looking flawless on this map, because you see it so often. But I don't know if it's just purely we're playing PENTA, you know, and I know that sounds harsh, but you know, when you're a top tier team, when you kind of look down on the others a little bit, you're like, well, do we always prepare?
The 3-11, to be fair.
Exactly. Like the point is that NaVi, you know, back quite some time ago was known for having occasionally close results against teams that you were kind of surprised at it happening, and they just went, well, we simply didn't look at them like we'd look, you know, into other teams. So we wouldn't, you know, do the demos, going over them, look into how they play. But this time, you know, you do have to start looking at PENTA a little bit more closely. I think it's a little bit surprising, but this could all be for nothing. If NaVi come in with a strong CT side and just smash it, or PENTA really cause an upset. We'll find out if they can actually close out a game here, PENTA. They've always seemingly been close, but never quite gone the whole way. At least against a team like this, 8 to 7.5 is a good beginning. But NaVi NaVi look to dismantle this, and already 2 players might be at the helm of that, Simple and Edward.
Down wall, PENTA getting aggressive though, at least tasked to 4 here. Edward being forced away, bundled out in fact of Underpass, but Seas comes in from behind, great positioning, gets the bomb loose, and Edward just masterfully plays around this corner. May not have one more, no, forced to go for the knife there as he runs out of bullets, and Stefan will deal with him, but this is exactly what PENTA did to NaVi on the CT side. Aggression in towards Underpass, it works, it pays off. And now Stefan has 3 angles, 3 players, 3 pistols to deal with. That's 1. Gets rid of that one early on. Flamey wants to challenge him out. Bit of damage down. Oh my lord. Goes into what sees. Can he do it? Stefan now trying to get it done. 1 HP before the final shot rings in. An opportunity there, no doubt about it. Yibbity, yibbity, that's all, folks. It's going to be NaVi picking up the pistol.
That was 4 kills. That could have been... Oof. I don't think I've seen someone actually get kills with a burst fire on the Glock in a while. I'm kind of surprised that even worked out, but...
I see most of the time players do it by accident, or sometimes like, I don't know, I remember, oh, was it Dupree at a DreamHack Masters Malmo, maybe? Or maybe not that one, actually, no, but an event like that as well, he randomly goes burst fire and everyone's calling him out for ages. But it does happen. Sometimes people just accidentally put it on and, well, obviously...
You've got to live with your choices.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to see the force-up Deagle round basically coming out. Actually, no, MACZ does have the Tech 9, so not the purest of Deagle rounds, but it's certainly there. And this does work to a degree, though the problem being that NaVi has head armor, so it's going to be a little bit trickier for them to get these sort of shots through. Good tags, though, coming out. Crystal's going to find Simple pretty comfortably there. Going to have to smoke himself out of this one, Simple, if he actually wants to escape. PENTA are very much on the precipice of pushing past that smoke, very much on the verge of doing so, but the bomb is there with them, so if Simple comes up with the goods, that's the problem. If they get it, that's the entry towards the site, and there it is. But there's still 2 more players. Guardian and Edward are both here.
Simple walked into that a little bit there. PENTA were actually hoping that Whitney would push in. They had a 2-man stack to sort of peek into that situation. Now, Guardian, of course, a little more mobile here with the scout. Has to be careful because Lol is actually on long. Guardian doesn't know this. Lol doesn't really have the angle. You can see he's very patiently just waiting for someone to get a little bit too close to this position. But a good chunk of damage shaved off of MACZ in towards mid. That's actually going to bring out the call for PENTA to go towards the B site. It's only seized there for the moment. He's not quite sure exactly where he'd like to stand here.
You just want to give yourself an escape at this point, or find some info. Flamey's caught out Tarsin, so this is going to mean alarm bells ring, basically. MACZ has to pull up and help them out now. The nade's going to do well. Does find Stefan and Crystal, but MACZ in the meantime did find Flamey, so it's down to the likes of Seized, Edward, and Guardian to keep this round in check.
Well, okay then, Seized. Bit of a tap towards the hedge. Stefan, not much he can really do about that, just has to accept his fate. Now the bomb loose over on B within plain sight of NaVi. PENTA now, it's damage control mode for them here. Backing away, do they want to save the UMP? Is it worth trying to go for something here? Doesn't matter, time runs out. They're going to be forced to keep their guns whether they wanted to or not here. And Seized hoping to get something cheeky off a little bit of a spray down, won't find it.
Yeah, PENTA had to kind of forego this round anyway. You know, you're not going to get much out of it unless you get a plant maybe, and you really pull something through. So keeping hold of those 2 guns and the upgraded armor, it's worthwhile. It really is. It's also making the fact that NaVi has to upgrade as well here. Their money won't be too concrete going into the next couple of rounds. Like if they don't lose a single player now, yeah, sure, they'll be fine. But you got to be careful. PENTA want to make this costly. That's their approach to this round. Maybe a plant, that'd be brilliant, but you know, cost-effective rounds is what you want to be looking at here for PENTA.
And Simple doesn't really want to fall to anything like that. So MACZ was on the UMP. Trade in, NaVi probably not pleased about that one. Their Guardian still has the scout as well, but I mean, there's plenty of opportunities here. And that's a gun
recovered. If they can get that to Lol, that's a gun recovered with a player with armor with 100 HP. That actually gets a little bit nerve-wracking. Crystal could stick on it, but he has no armor to kind of support Guardian.
So about 100 HP in armor, hey?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh, I don't like to dwell on the past too much. It's Lol getting hammered there, safe to say. So, I mean, Stefan, bomb being left here in toilet. So, Edward probably seen this already. Yeah, he's just peeked around enough to see it. So, he knows that PENTA aren't really going anywhere. They're trying to stake this area out, but now it's turned into a last stand for Stefan. Not quite the perk you want in this sort of situation. Still gets the headshot, but Edward going to reply back. So, NaVi, get those rounds as you may expect, and we've been talking about it. We've been ideating as to whether we really see AWPs come in en masse here. I think Edward bought one up and swapped it over, so maybe even just the one here. Yeah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So still going to be Simple on the M4. And Guardian on the AWP. CT side here, this is where we expect NaVi really to come to life if they haven't already, which, to be honest, I wouldn't say it's been convincing.
And PENTA just doing a 5-man monster push? Surely, no, okay, they are splitting up a little bit here, slowing down. So they're going to be flashing and mollying into it, but Guardian's seen it all. And no one's pressured short, but Cease is in trouble. Overwhelmed drastic, but no one is pushing behind him. Guardian's going to have free reign here. He doesn't know that, of course. He doesn't know that he's completely safe to peek this angle, but soon enough he might find out. Again, all of PENTA left, just corralled into this small area, and Flamey's having a whale of a time. There's Simple finding one as well. PENTA a little short-sighted on this, and NaVi just dealing with it with ease.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was good there for PENTA. They managed to push and overwhelm MACZ. The problem is that NaVi were very quick in responding there. You saw the flashes come over the top, a couple of smokes to cut off any sort of route of escape, and then Guardian left as a backstop there in case anyone tried to back out through Monster. And PENTA just sort of stood there and said, well, we're going to try and stand and fight here, but it's not really the way it works out when you're up against an enemy team with better firepower than you and also the utility to keep you at arm's length for that little bit longer. So PENTA play into NaVi's hands a little bit more there. No big changes weapon-wise for NaVi. However, PENTA, yeah, a little bit different. Obviously, not going to be working with as much this round. Just those pistols. MACZ has armor and the Tech 9. So does Crystal. So again, Simple in this fairly advanced position. Look at this bit of a one-way smoke. You better believe it gets himself 2 kills as well, derailing PENTA here before they can really get started. MACZ, for sure, that's a kill. That's also a M4 going over to a full health and armored player, so not terrible, but with MACZ there, tightening the thumb screws on towards Crystal and backing away here. This is just what he wants.
I kind of like that. It kind of looked like he backed through the door. They didn't actually see him do it, but still, like, C's playing that quite nicely. Buying a bit of time. He doesn't want to lose out on this, but he does in the end. MACZ has actually made this quite costly now.
Yeah, I think it's because he just didn't have time to reload. C's was like, well, I could reload, but that's not really, you know, a watertight sort of setup here. I'm just go to the pistol and hope that nade really did more than I hoped. But he doesn't really know that MACZ probably has armor at that point. If he didn't have armor, he probably would have wrecked him, but it's not the case. So MACZ gets on towards Edward here, and okay, a couple of opportunities start to materialize here for the Dutchman. 3 kills already in the round. Perhaps it is just sit on this and save, but that's a whole 40 seconds of him just swinging back and forth here in the playground, and I have to feel that he goes for something. Gives the time 14. So there is enough time.
Yeah, he can make it, but the problem is that if Guardian slows him down for a little bit of time, an extended fight, not good. Now he's spotted him out, he's going to molly out the corner so he can push up. He knows that he's against, you know, time's not on his side, let's put it that way. But the molly's not gone deep enough in towards Bank to deny Guardian to be able to watch this cross, but he doesn't hit the shot. The molly kind of obscured his vision there, but Flamey was around the back watching for the plant position. And NaVi doing what we kind of expected. These rounds are getting clean-ish. We're going to see the double orb. That's what we want to see. All right, Simple. What have you got to bring out? Because last time they double orbed on the toilet side of thing, and I'm not sure. Yeah, we weren't sure on that one. It's a high risk thing. It is very, very risky. You can get overwhelmed quite handily at that. But the problem is that when you have such high skill ability within your team, you can kind of take that risk, and they're actually doing it as well. Yeah, I mean, Yanker, the way Yanker put it, he said they sort of wreaked havoc when they sort of brought this play out, or at least it's going to allow them to. So Simple again likes to sit in this position quite far forward. We saw the one-way smoke in that previous round that led him 2 quick kills. There it is. Stefan goes down. Now PENTA maybe realizing the full, I guess, transgression that they've made having to run into this kind of situation. LOL has to be a slow mover here. Doesn't really have a choice otherwise. There's smoke in his way. Edward just backs away into the shadows as that clears, and LOL won't be seeing anything for the moment. So again, it's just the evidence of, okay, peeks into what's Simple. I was going to say the evidence of Simple was there to see, but he himself wasn't. LOL maybe just good timing there, but could even have himself an AWP if he fancies it, but NaVi just jockeying back here. But this is the thing, he's got good info now. He spotted out those 2 players falling back towards A site, so he's kind of encouraged people to hit B. That, you know, okay, we know there's only 2 on A, let's hit this B site. But the problem is that Seized and Flamey are in good positions, and they're not being pressured down really as a whole. They're going in 1 by 1 here, and Flamey
don't do it.
Almost made it look beautiful there on that 3rd. He did find 2 though, which really does stop the rot. Now bringing it back just down towards LOL in the 1v2. Talented player, we saw it through Cobble, but not quite yet to the same degree here in Overpass. But there is always a chance, but it's not going to happen with Guardian doing what Guardian does best. Yeah, I mean, even with Edward there, in a situation that he justifiably probably could have won out there. Obviously, LOL, it's consistently giving us these very impressive performances. That's another 3K for him. Yep. I mean, I do just think back to the PENTA game on Mirage. I don't know actually who it was against, but LOL carried them into overtime. PENTA played a lot of overtimes in the Pro League, by the way. And it just sucks that they come out with only 3 wins thus far. The round difference actually isn't that bad if you go and have a look at the standings here. But so far, again, LOL's been quite a strong performer here. So has MACZ. He's had his moments, but Flamey has had a far better game than he did on Cobblestone anyway. He was a little bit nullified there in a lot of cases, and this is big for NaVi. This is very, very big. PENTA now have to go back for AKs. That's all they can really afford to get at this stage. MACZ won't have the zoom stick, and this is it really for them. Yep, this is pretty much it, and already that's a good start. LOL's going to find Edward. That's going to cut off a little bit of, you know, NaVi's strength at the knees. But no, Flamey's going to find it instantly. Back stays out for the second. He does tag up Stefan, if I can use my words. But it does leave now. The double AWP's still there, which is going to be tough to use on a retake, and then Seize. So Seize has to be big in this round. Oh god, Guardian, as if you go for this.
That is just...
How does no one notice the door suddenly swung open? Don't you realize there's something maybe afoot here? And now Guardian strikes. That is a disaster if I've ever seen one. Seize now should be fed the kill by MACZ. And Guardian closes down. In the most unlikely situations, he still finds a way to be relevant.
That's not like there's something in Underpass. There's death on two legs in Underpass. Guardian, even after fluffing the first shot, took PENTA so long to realize that the door swinging open actually would reveal an enemy. I don't know what happened there, bit of a mix-up. Sometimes coming from those unexpected angles can really buy you that second of time where the enemy team is still trying to process. There's some input lag going on. It's like, why is the door behind us open? And then it's too late. Nicely done by NaVi, and that really puts a big nail into the PENTA coffin here. You can see that LoL has to go glass cannon in this round. Not really much utility at all. A decent mix of smokes and flashes, but it's going to be one execute. And if they waste this, they're donezo.
Yeah, no kidding. Seized already catching out LoL at the start. That's kind of, yeah, first nail in the coffin territory, I'd say there. And now 5v4, PENTA already left to try and find that frag back. And this is something that we've said before. NaVi has an extremely high rate of winning these rounds when they get the first pick on both sides. So again, PENTA playing against the odds. Probably 20% of the odds here sitting in their pocket. But here we go. Tarsin's found Guardian, so that's a big pickup. If you wanted to get any big bounty, that's certainly one of them. And now 4v4. Edward fancying his chances. This is risky. He has limited info where they are. He knows one's a party, but there could be someone in toilets. They've not made it on long yet because he's got support there, but still, yeah, backs away. Starts to, you know, maybe consider things. And Simple's left to kind of deal with what's coming his way.
Flaming in a decent position to catch any sort of rotate, which is entirely probable at this point, but now with Crystal going down, perhaps PENTA are committed to this more than anything. They know the Flaming had taken fairly advanced positions, so for them to even get access to Monster or anywhere towards short on B, it will be very, very hard. So options limited, now Simple as well. Going to limit them just a little bit more. It's going to be a shot to the heart. And, well, it's PENTA to blame at this stage. Only 7 rounds for them here. And after such a strong first half to get nothing in the second is pretty disgraceful, or definitely rough for them to deal with here. It is NaVi, it is CT-sided NaVi play as well, with the double orb coming in. Not really even being a highlighting factor, it's just a good performance overall, and NaVi have done it there. It's a flawless CT side. And they make us look like fools for suggesting this may be overtime after the first half. Although, PENTA, this is just the story of them right now. They start off well, or at least they perform somewhere well in the middle, but they can't finish the job.
Yeah, and this is why you can't get... I know this sounds very, very harsh, but you can't get too excited when you see PENTA starting to look good, because how many times have we seen them getting close and then just not closing out the games? I think this has been probably one of the clearest pictures from side to side, where it's been, okay, first half, super competitive, you know, really enjoyable matchup. Second half, NaVi kick in. You know what I mean? That NaVi effect just suddenly comes out, strangling every sort of aspect. You had Guardian having brilliant moments. You know, a lot of things going right for NaVi there, and sadly PENTA just having nothing to bring to the forefront.
Yeah, very much the case there. We saw very little from them in that second half here. But maybe we could have seen more. Perhaps there were a few things that prevented them from doing so. We'd definitely like to hear from our experts on this one, Alex, so take us away.
Be my great pleasure. Thank you very much, Mitch and Lauren. So, gentlemen, a much more convincing second map. We kind of got on the edge of our seat. PENTA got us thinking that they could finally get another win versus a T1 team, and however, Overpass is a completely different tale. Very similar to NaVi's result versus Mousesports just yesterday as well. You're nodding, Yanko. Was it just, you know, another day in the office for NaVi?
Well, on Overpass it was. I think it shows that they're much more comfortable than they are on Cobblestone, and also that PENTA, maybe not as practiced on Overpass like they are on Cobble. You could see mostly in the small things, like the small situations, the reactions. The NaVi players are always aware of the possibilities, even late into the round, as Chad was pointing out. You had that one round where Edward was going into the site. It was a 3v3 situation. He knew that someone still had to be in A. They cleared the toilets. They had the trade there. So he goes and checks all the way towards long, and there was a PENTA player hiding there. And then the rest of the team doesn't go straight for the bomb plan. They still wait for those rotations because they know it's coming pretty fast, and they managed to clean up the round. You know, at times you would see PENTA run into a player they don't really expect and get mowed down. First gun round in the second half, maybe a good example, similar to Cobble, they push out real quick, you know, with their whole team, but they don't push forward into the site, and they just get shut down by NaVi's players who kept throwing all the nades. Yeah, and hitting their shots. Flamey, of course, having a spectacular game as well. What are our takeaways, you know, from the PENTA department, though, Chad? I mean, this is the first opportunity that the mainstream has got to see PENTA, at least in quite a while. What do we think about, you know, their chances of kind of growing as a team and actually becoming a team to be reckoned with in time?
They did pretty good at disrupting NaVi setups on their T side. So PENTA were going like aggressive on the toilets and long, and they were getting kills and trading out pretty well. There was so I noted it down. NaVi got the first kill 11 times in the first half, but they only converted 6 of those. So PENTA did a great job being a man down to be able to win those rounds, and NaVi did a terrible job of being able to convert rounds with their man up, which is I was a bit sad to see what they were doing, but that's okay. I don't know how PENTA, you know, are going to stack up in the long term. For them, I think it's, hey, let's just not get in those relegation matches at the end of this season.
Sure. But I mean, there must be something. The point I was trying to kind of lead into was that a team that's picking up consistent close games versus, you know, T1, T2 teams, there is something that you surely there's a positive from that, or is it all just but you didn't win?
It's
there must
true,
be more
but you don't want to be too harsh and say that, well, it's a matter of time until maybe Lowell gets picked up by another team. Perhaps, you know, because it was a German team, right? But then they started adding these players. But why would he stick in PENTA, for example, him or, I mean, any player? Why would he stick there if he gets a better you know, offer from another team? With Heroic is a similar team that we mentioned in this talk, but they have like the player org going for them, and they did have some LAN tournaments together as well. A bond is being created in that team, had some great results on LAN too. So, you know, that's always the big question mark when it comes to this team. If anything, it looks like Pro League is a great proving ground for these individual players to get noticed, to put themselves on the map, pretty much, right?
That's crazy. I always knew there was this kind of farming team concept, but just to put it into kind of a player's perspective for a moment, is if you are in just outside of the real kind of creme de la creme, you know, the real T1, you just sit there and kind of, you know that if someone's having a lot of good games and you aren't posting good results, that player could just leave you, and then you're left trying to rebuild, and then just a downward spiral from there. It's kind of a sad story to tell, really, Chad.
Someone's going to be a farming team.
Someone has to.
Yeah, there has to be some, because, you know, there's always going to be these top teams who are looking for new talents. They're the more established brands. They've got more money. They can bully these little teams and take the players they want, and it's always going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately.
It's the harsh reality, but that could very well be going through as we see a fantastic performance from the Spaniard, as I do eventually get my words out. Before we do head to a break, though, and we do venture into VP versus Hellraisers, I'm going to remind you about an application that you can grab on your smartphone. It's also available on iOS and Google Play, and it's called the Score Esports application. You may have heard me talk about it before, but it enables you to keep track of everything that's going on, not only in CS, but Dota and League of Legends as well, if you're a fan of all of the esports. But you go grab that. It's available in the palm of your hand, and when we do return, you get to see Virtus Pro versus Hellraisers. It should be interesting to see if VP can kind of mimic the form we saw in Bucharest just a while ago.